Welcome one and all, Nyanko here, and today I am going to be talking about an anime series that I really enjoy called Noragami, or Stray God. So I got back into this again recently because I got the DVDs as a present, and I'd forgotten how much I loved the show, so I originally watched it back in, when it first started airing, and fell in love, couldn't wait for more, and got super excited, went and read the manga. Season 2 then came out a couple of years later, super hyped, excited, got it. As we all know, I cosplay from Noragami. If you've seen my other video, well, actually I don't know if it's out at this point, but there will be a video coming out at some point of me in my Kurfku cosplay, because Kurfku is my favourite. I also like Bishamon and Hyuri, they're all on the list for cosplays. But anyway, the premise about Noragami, if you haven't seen the show, is that there is a delivery god, Yato, who is desperately trying to save up enough money to build a shrine of his own. Now, he's seen as a bit of a bum because he's always wearing a tracksuit and he doesn't really have anywhere to live because he's nameless, basically, in the sense of nobody in Japan remembers him. And he doesn't have any shrine, so he's not a big god, not like Bishamon, Ebisu, and the old grandpa dude. Oh, what's his name? Old grandpa dude, his name will be there. You know, so he's desperately trying to make a name for himself by like scribbling things on bathroom stalls and like graffitiing places so that people will like ring him and be like, here is 5 yen. So in the first episode, basically, you meet Yato, and then you meet Hyuri, a young girl who is obsessed with wrestling, but has to keep it secret because her mum wouldn't agree. Now, Hyuri comes from a rich family and crosses paths with Yato one day when she tries to push him out of the way of a bus while he's looking for a stray cat, and then becomes separated from her body, so her spirit will just slip out sometimes. And then Yato promises to find a way to cure her, and she pays him 5 yen, and that's how their story begins. And then through their relationship, you get to see more of the surrounding world and the different gods and what they do. And one of the things that the gods do is they save humans from phantoms who are corrupted souls who have died and they're not yet passed on. I think that's it. Or they're just phantoms from hell. And then they corrupt souls that don't move on fast enough. I think that's also something. So yeah, and then sometimes what can happen is a soul that hasn't been corrupted can get turned into a regalia. So entering Yukine, who Yato finds when he's in a bit of a bind because he's about to die, and a god without regalia is powerless, basically, to fight off the phantoms that come and attack them. So he then brings Yukine to life again, basically, in the form of a young boy who's about 14. And then that leads into a whole load of different problems. So while Yato is trying to train up Yukine and solve Hyuri's problem, he is also like running around desperately trying to hide from Bishamon, who is another god who is extremely angry with Yato for something that happened many, many years in the past, with her own regalia, which is more touched upon in season 2. But yeah, season 1 is basically about Yato, Yukine, and Hyuri and their adventures together. And then it ends with Yato having to face off against an old comrade of his from back in the day when he used to be a god of calamity. So from like the Warring Edo period and like that. But the way he does it is he steals Hyuri and like takes her captive. So Yato then has to go and save her, or is it the other way around? Anyway, Hyori gets involved as well in it. There's like the big fight, and then life goes on as usual. But another thing that happens in like the first season is that having to deal with Yukine's teenage boyhood and the way, and it also explains that basically anytime a regalia has a bad thought or does something wrong, it taints the master, so the god who is in control, like in possession of them. So Yukine starts stealing things, having like 14-year-old like desires over Hyori and stuff like that. And it starts blighting Yato, and Yato just keeps trying to cover it up and hide it. And then it kind of comes to a head where Yato's going to die if they don't save him. So Curve-ku and Daikoku, who are two of my favourite characters in the entire show, who also house Yukine and Yato from time to time, have to help like cleanse Yato. But to do that, they have to do an ablution on Yukine. So they get Daikoku, because he's a regalia. They get Mayu, who used to be Turkine. I think it's Turkine. Who was Tenjin, that's his name. Sorry, Tenjin. Who used to be Yato's regalia, who then quit and then became Lord Tenjin's old grandpa dude's regalia. She then decides to come and help as well. And then, lo and behold, Kazuma, the head regalia for Bishamon, also comes and helps absolve Yato, which then plays on further into season 2, and you find out why he owes Yato such a great debt. I mean, it was so compelling. I loved the voice acting, Japanese and English. I've seen it in both. The stories were sweet. The relationships were never forced. It like gave you enough information on like everything, but it also left you wanting more because it didn't give you the whole picture, which I thought at the time was like really intriguing. Season 2 then happens, and season 2 explains more upon Bishamon and Yato's past. It looks more into like other gods as well. So you see Ebisu, and you see other gods of fortune, and a lot more of the other gods. You also meet Izanami, who is queen of the underworld, and Ebisu's mother, it is implied, which I think is something in Japanese lore as well, like in the gods lore. I'd have to double check on that. And we also get a lot of tidbits about Yato's past as well, and his father, which is then explained upon more in the manga, but that stuff hasn't been turned into an anime yet, so hurry up with season 3. There's more about Hyori as well in season 2. Like, they can't figure out how to save her either. Bishamon's past and Kazuma's past with Yato is revealed, and basically Bishamon's own actions kind of come back on her as well, which I actually really enjoyed, because Bishamon's not a bad person and she's not a bad god, she's just too kind, and her kindness kind of bites her in the ass a lot of the time, so that was cool to see. And then, like I said, it explains more about Yato. Yukine also levels up, and after everything in season 1 is making up for it in season 2. But the sweetest thing for me in season 2 was that Yato finally got his shrine. Now, he didn't buy it himself or anything like that. Hyori made it for him and gave it to him, and he's absolutely over the moon and ecstatic because his like lifelong dream has been realised. And then he even gets to be part of like the royal, like the gods realm, and he can go in there and live there and stuff like that. But he still ends up living with like Daikoku and Curve-ku a lot of the time. Yeah. We see more of Hyori's like life as well, because she's in high school in the second season. And you also start to see that like Yato is quite forgettable, just due to the fact that he doesn't have a well-known name. Now, people still remember him, otherwise he would have disappeared, because what happens is famous gods reincarnate, even gods of poverty like Kofku, because they're known under another name. They reincarnate, but no-named gods like Yato can't reincarnate. So if he dies, that's it for him, because he's not known and he doesn't have anybody that worships him. So the first step to getting that level of like job security, technically, is to get a shrine and get like followers and believers. Now, at the moment, people must still remember him other than Hyuri, because he's still alive even when Hyuri starts to forget him. But they don't really touch upon that much. I'm hoping they touch upon it more in the manga, but I haven't read it in a while, so I need to catch up. Yeah, so with Hyuri starting to forget, Yato starts panicking and stuff, and then his father's like keeping him trapped and making him do stuff for him, which I think they go into that. They definitely go into that more in the manga, because I remember bits and bobs of that being covered. I'm gonna have to go binge that now after making this. Damn, I know what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, I mean, the animation is great. I think it's Studio Bones? I want to say Bones. I'm not actually quite sure. Let me double check this. Yeah, Studio Bones. Who do the animation, and they do shows like My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, stuff like that. So, I mean, they have a history of doing good shows with clean animation, decent budgets, that kind of thing. I can definitely recommend it if you want a good action show that's got, you know, good relationships, but it's also got a bit of sprinkling of drama, good fights, good world building, leaves you wanting more. And I mean, it's one that you don't forget about, because I know these days I've watched quite a few animes that are like, yeah, alright, that was alright, but I kind of forgot about it as soon as I stopped watching it. It was a bit boring. Like, they weren't bad, they were just kind of meh. Whereas like Noragami, even though it's a short, sweet series, is very much memorable, you know, which some shows kind of fall flat on these days, because I think there's just so many of them, like saturating the market at once. Whereas like Noragami was first released, I'd say, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago? When did the first season come out? Yeah, 2014, so it's, what, 8 years ago now? Jesus, wow, I'm feeling old. And I was watching that weekly. So yeah, I think it was just before the big boom with anime getting popular, like really, really popular in the West. Before, like, up until about 2013, I'd say, it was more niche. There was like, those of us that watched it were like bullied and we were the nerds and stuff like that. And then from about 15, I'd say, 15, 16, it started blowing up in the West with like Netflix and stuff like this. So the entire, like, basically everybody's seen an anime these days, especially with Demon Slayer, you know. A lot of people had seen like Ghibli movies, but again, they didn't put that in the same category as anime in general. So I think for like Noragami, it was one of the last of like the seasonal animes where we weren't oversaturated with basically 5 or 6 shows of the same kind of genre with just slightly tweaked different premises. Looking at you, Isekai. You know, it's memorable. Like, the characters are really funly, like, they've got really fun designs, they're very cute, or they're very handsome, you know. They've all each got their, they don't look too similar, like, there's no character that looks too similar to another character, even though, you know, like, it's the same artist drawing them. Maybe they tweaked that a bit for the anime. I know they sometimes do that. But yeah, it's just a fun show. It's really feel good. You know, it's entertaining. You get, you know, you get 20 minutes in and you're like, crap, did 20 minutes just pass? Like, I can't, like, sorry, rambling. I can't stress enough how amazing it is as a whole, you know? And it's addictive because you want more. Like, you finish it and you come away going, I want more of this. There's a couple of OVAs as well that are like super cute. Like Yato and Bishamon get drunk. That's really good. So I'm hoping with the fact that we've had a couple of OVAs that it's just that the second season that aired in 2015 is waiting for there to be more content. And now with the fact that we've just got Devil as a Part-Timer season 2 10 years later, 10 years later, I'm really hopeful that Noragami is going to get another season again as well. Because like lots of stuff is happening in the manga at the moment. And I really want to see it animated. Come on, please Bones, please make another series. I'm also going to cosplay more from it, definitely. So there's Kofuku, who you will meet in a few days. I think it's Friday that this video comes. So this video is coming out on the Monday, and I think Friday is going to be the Kofuku video. Hopefully, if everything goes to plan. So you'll see my Kofuku there. I'm also like I said, trying to get Hyori and Bishamon together, because they're two of my other favourite characters from the show. My best boy, by the way, MVP. Kazuma. Look at this boy. Look at him. He is so cute. I love him. And he is so handsome and loyal. I love him so much. And then Yato is like my favourite god. Because he's just so silly. And he's so funny. And he's just wacky. And oh, I love him so much. Just I wish Yato was real. But yeah. I'm not really sure if there's much more I can say on that now. Go watch it. Tell me what you think down in the comments below if you have already seen it, or if you watch it because of this video. Also let me know and tell me if my taste is good or bad. I can take it. Yeah, leave a like, it would be much appreciated, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm Nyanko. I love you all, my beautiful kittens, and I will see you next time. Au revoir.